shall we? Knowing how barbaric your manuals are, I feel I should point a few things out first. If you've got any crisps or crackers, do open them now. Bloody distracting ones, I say. Do refrain from taking any photos or videos. In fact, it's not necessary to have your phones on at all. Do turn them off, won't you? In case of emergency, exits are to your right and to your left. Now, with that all being said, sit up straight, sip your tea slowly, and do enjoy the show.
You rang, milady.
What took you so long, Pembroke? What's busy, you know?
My deepest apologies, ladies. With 40 rooms in the house, I find it difficult to be outside of each door at all times.
Normally, I would not tolerate excuses, but there are more important matters at hand. Tell me, Harrington, is the new Irish stable boy here yet?
It's Pembroke, milady.
His name is Pembroke. What an odd name for an Irishman. Usually they're called Fitz-something.
Or, something. Or mix-something.
Not a lot of variety in the Irish. I wonder how they tell one another apart.
I think it is by scent.
I will see if he's arrived yet, milady.
Thank you, Turtle. See that he is sound. Can drive this afternoon.
The stable boy?
Of course, the stable boy. Do you think I would let my daughters ride actual horses?
Of course not, milady. My apologies. I was unaware of their outdoor activities as I have not set foot outside of this house in a number of years.
If I cannot have a day off being the lady of this house, you cannot have a day off being the butler.
Of course, milady.
We all have our jobs to do, Atherley. Mine just entails reclining on this lounge.
Yes, milady.
See? Easily solved. Marigold, you may ride the blonde boy, and Iris, you may have the Irish. Thank you. Now, remember, girls, side saddle. Every husband wants to be the first to explore the undiscovered country. You'll want to leave something as a surprise for your wedding night.
Yes, yes. I do hope my pony doesn't have red hair. It would clash with my riding outfit. I have my pony shaved. Great! It's so shiny now.
The new lady's maid is here, milady.
Excellent. I despise being without a lady's maid. I've had to dress and undress myself since Braithwaite left us.
Yes, milady. It's been 2 months.
Hard to believe that she drowned in my bath.
Quite, milady. I'm very sorry that you are inconvenienced.
She must have been agitating my bathwater with great gusto that day. Suds everywhere. How was I to know that she couldn't swim? I always assumed that servants had gills
Oh, of course, milady.
Thank you, milady, for the opportunity to serve you.
I'm glad that you're here. Your name?
Sarah, milady. Sarah Taylor.
You will find, Taylor, that we eschew the continental habit of Christian names for those in service. You shall be called Taylor from now on, unless you display a knack for mending and altering clothes. Then you will be shoemaker.
Yes, milady. Thank you.
Your duties are quite simple, as there are only 5 family members in this house. Myself, my 3 daughters, and my father, the captain.
Yes, milady.
You are to follow instructions to the letter, given to you by any member of this family.
Of course.
With the notable exception of my father. He will no doubt request either whiskey, firearms, or courtesans from you. Do not give him any of those things, singularly or in any combination.
Understood.
Eckert, please show Taylor to her quarters upstairs.
Of course, milady. Won't you come with me, please?
No Irishman yet. It's not them, Mama. Oh. Is this the new lady's maid?
This is Taylor. 2 of my daughters, Marigold and Iris.
Pleasure, milady.
What? What language is that? Oh, don't you speak English? Mama, how would you order her around if she's from some foreign country?
I'm from Manchester, milady.
No idea what she's saying. Sounds like a collection of pigs and punts. Why are there so many foreigners in our country? Don't they appreciate being part of our empire, does them? Are you from the Antipodes? New Guinea? Oh, Belgium.
Manchester. I'm from Manchester, milady.
It's like some kind of made-up language. Oh, she must be from Africa. Oh, yes. That's what I thought, of course. Where is Africa? It's near Wales. Don't call me an idiot. How do you know that the Africa is near the water?
The water?
Where all the whales and the rest of the fishes are. Whales, not whales. Whales, not whales. Why are you saying it like this? That's the way to say it. That is not how I say it. Well, this is Wales that's near the Africa. Don't you know anything about geography?
Geography.
Geography. Come along, Taylor. I have some old bloodstains on my riding boots. Oh, so she doesn't speak the King's English. Let's just call her Bright Eyes.
Come here, Bright Eyes.
Heel. Come along.
Will there be anything else, milady?
No, thank you. That will be all.
Very good, milady. Your solicitor, Mr. Winthrop, is here, milady.
Thank you, Smithers. Show him in.
It's Pembroke, milady.
Oh, I thought you said that Mr. Winthrop was here.
He is, milady.
Oh, Smithers, I have adored your wit for the last 20 years.
Thank you, milady.
I will miss you so when you're dead.
Lady manners, please forgive my barging in like this.
Well, a woman should say that it is always a pleasure to see a gentleman who is not her husband. But the unannounced arrival of one's solicitor, like marriage, rarely yields satisfactory results in regards to pleasure.
I'm afraid, Lady Manners, that this visit will do nothing to alter your opinion.
Oh, good. It is a great comfort to believe the same thing on Wednesday as one did on Monday, regardless of what happened on Tuesday. Churches rely on that illusion for a week at a time. Would you care for a cup of tea? Bad news is always easier to take when one has a cup of tea.
No, thank you, Lady Manners. I have come today as your late husband's man of business. And since Lord Manners' death, it's been my responsibility to keep an eye on his estate and its finances.
Yes, your yearly Christmas cards beseeching me to withhold gift purchases and lay off staff set the perfect tone for the holidays.
Well, over the past 18 years, I've been steadfast in my desire to see Manners Manor and the estate of Addison Park as a whole run in a more business-like fashion. But over the past 18 years, you've not altered your spending in the slightest. In fact, your expenses seem to increase on a fairly regular basis.
No, I have tried to contain costs, but you would not believe the bellyaching from the groundskeepers when they're asked to use last year's tweezers to prune the hedges.
Be that as it may, Lady Manners, we finally arrived at a day of reckoning for the estate. There's simply no money left.
Have we nothing in our portfolio?
I'm afraid the estate's largest investment was a controlling interest, an educational concern that was bringing enlightened thought to America.
And?
Bankrupt. America, still a savage place, and appealing to their aspirations for enlightenment proved to be fruitless.
Why is it that the Americans have been disappointing the British for so long?
I should think that allowing them independence was a mistake. Every other country in the British Empire is perfectly happy to take India for example.
So, how much time do I have?
I think you'd be forced to sell within the next month.
Well, it seems that I shall give the people of this village something to talk about besides their usual gossip.
Oh, I can assure you that you and your family are well regarded in the village.
Please do not speak well of my family. If there's one thing I cannot stand, it's a dissenting opinion. I shall send my daughters away while everything is sorted. I suppose I should find some relation to presume upon in the interim. How bothersome to be forced to consort with one's own relations.
I'm afraid so, Lady Manners. Everything here will have to go. Unless
what?
Unless you were able to find a new source of income.
Shall I take up selling apples by the roadside?
I should think it would take a great deal of apples to generate the kind of profit necessary to keep the estate going.
Doesn't matter anyway. The dictates of my schedule manifest a marked lack of time for engaging in fruit commerce.
I understand. Well, I shall make some inquiries, discreetly of course, about potential buyers for the estate.
Yes, discretion is the key, Mr. Winthrop. The only time I care what people talk about is when it concerns me.
Of course. Please let me know if a new source of income becomes suddenly available.
I will. Thank you, Mr. Winthrop. I have much to consider.
Good day to you, lady. I will see myself out.
Well, shit.
Do you think she might understand Belgiese? She speaks French, you idiot.
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't understand French.
I'm an idiot. You're an idiot. Oh, how can I be an idiot? You're too much of an idiot to even know what an idiot is.
Neither do I, love. And my name's not Dominique, it's Daydream.
Where did they come up with domination?
Oh, don't you take that back? Why should I? You're too much of an idiot to even understand what I'm saying.
Who knows? They started calling me that and then decided I must speak French. These people are having to do too much, you know, with the language barrier and all. I'm actually from New York.
Bloody brilliant.
Mesdames, je viens de prendre ton là. You're using your English words, Dominic!
I beg your pardon, madame, but I must remind you of the producteur of Lady Connect.
Let's go to Tendrin.
I mean, yes. Je remember the term, how you say, accident, when her corset was tight enough to make her waist to the size of her wrist.
What happened?
She broke in half.
Tighter. I still can't taste my own spleen.
It's true. I have heard the same thing.
Well, I would like to die thin, even if it means 2 coffins. Come on, right guys. We'll jump back into it. Oh.
Madame.
Oh, the world is turning grey. I can't feel my legs. I'm beginning to smell almonds. Perfect. Me next. Me next. Come on. Come on.
Sir Geoffrey Barrett, milady.
Sir Geoffrey? Again? Whatever is he doing here?
I'm afraid I don't know, milady.
Well, he was here on 2 days ago on some pretext or other, and the week before that he was a visitor on 4 different occasions.
That is correct, milady.
I wonder if he ever has time to speak with his own wife.
Perhaps that's the point, milady.
Good afternoon, Lady Manners.
Good afternoon.
I trust that you are well.
I'm afraid you've done nothing to earn that trust. What can I do for you, Sir Geoffrey?
I've just returned from visiting my mother, who now lives in town.
And how did you find your dear mother?
Cold, imperious, and slightly dotty, as ever.
Well, it's good that we English have such a strong sense of tradition.
Quite.
I didn't ring for tea.
Begging your pardon, milady, but you did not ring for it either.
Your logic is inescapable. Please continue.
Yes, milady.
And how are things at Wixford?
Things at Wixford go on as they always have. As you well know, owning an estate in a small town comes with a great deal of responsibility.
Of course. Anderson Park is no different.
It seems everyone in our village has their hand out.
Yes, I'm far more familiar with the hands in our village than I ever wanted to be.
Beastly, dirty people.
The worst. And how is Lady Barrett?
Who?
Your wife.
Oh, yes, my wife. Oh, silly of me to forget.
Yes, men seem likely to forget their wives in the presence of other women. But I'm certain there's no correlation.
As you might have heard, Lady Barrett and I are not close. I've been staying in one of the guest houses on the estate.
Really, Sir Geoffrey, if I had the slightest interest in your sleeping arrangements, I would have asked.
My apologies. You asked about my wife.
A formality, I assure you.
That I have a wife is one formality as well.
Is your wife aware of this arrangement?
Her schedule keeps her quite engaged.
Well, how very fortunate for you both.
Yes, quite. But the reason that I came to see you today is, well,
Do go on, Sir Geoffrey. Let's not have this conversation linger like one of those dreadful plays where everything happens 3 hours after you've sat down. Yes, that will be all, Cobbler, thank you.
I'll overhear the rest of the conversation.
The house has a special listening ventilation grate for the servants. You may reserve a time with the head housekeeper.
Thank you, my lady.
Carpenter, because you are new here, I will forego a demerit or a beating. However, please take some time to read the rules regarding the publication of tell-all books written by those in service.
Yes, my lady.
Now, where were we, Sir Geoffrey?
Lady Manners, we have known one another for many years, haven't we?
Yes, indeed. Our families go back generations together.
Of course, your husband was an intimate friend and would have remained a close friend had it not been for his death.
Well, my husband's death was more inconvenient for him, I'm afraid, than it was for me.
So, it is with that closeness in mind that I would like to talk with you.
Sir Geoffrey, please! Maintain a literal distance when speaking of a metaphorical closeness.
My apologies.
Quite all right.
As I was saying, it is with that closeness in mind that I need to speak with you in a manner which you may consider impertinent.
And do not speak of it, Sir Geoffrey. Impertinence is never as an attractive quality in others as it can be in ourselves.
I feel that I must.
Well, of course, if you feel that you must, then the only way for me to stop you is to leave the room. And this is my daily chaise longue time.
Yesterday, as I was leaving my mother's home, I witnessed your 3 daughters on an outing in the village.
Yes, they were there for dress fittings and to criticize the other patrons of the shop. Second Tuesday of the month. Oh, the girls so look forward to it.
That is the point, Lady Manners. They were incredibly rude to everyone they encountered.
My daughters were rude, you say?
Yes.
Well, I would expect nothing less from them. Indeed, to maintain the appearance of wealth and position, a certain haughtiness is not only understandable, but actually necessary to prevent the breakdown of the walls separating the classes.
I completely understand and agree, Lady Manners. The aristocracy owes it to itself to ensure its future free from peasant uprisings.
Yes, if only Marie Antoinette had remembered that. So, what of my daughter's rudeness?
Their rudeness made them appear ill-bred.
Ill-bred?
Yes.
As in not well-bred?
You've bullseyed the exact thing.
That is unacceptable. To be rude is the purview of the wealthy. But the insinuation that my daughters are not well-born ladies of Lord Manners' bloodline is simply too much. I will speak with their governess.
You wouldn't want people to think that they were the offspring of some common drudge.
Oh, of course not. They are my own. I remember every moment of bringing them into this world in hellish detail.
I would think you'd remember their birth.
I was referring to their conception. Lord Manners entered my bedchamber mistakenly one night after a long evening of whiskey drinking and dwarf baiting, tripped on my Pekingese and landed squarely on top of me. In my attempt to writhe away from his unconscious bulk, I was impregnated.
My word. How terribly traumatic for you.
For me and auspicious.
But Lord Manners' name was the Mortimer, was it not?
I was referring to my Pekingese.
Poor creature.
So, 9 months later, the triplets arrived.
Was it a difficult delivery?
Oh, I have no idea. Dr. Valentine gave me a cocktail of opium and sherry. I awoke several weeks later, bathed in the glories of motherhood and an inability to sit comfortably for the next fortnight.
Were you quite involved with them in those early days?
I employed every nanny and wet nurse personally.
With 3 babies, that had to be quite an expense.
Oh, it was. One never appreciates a milk-filled breast until one must pay for it.
I should say.
Yes, milady?
I want to speak with my daughter's governess.
Begging your pardon, milady, but Miss Swire died 10 years ago.
Died? Why was I not informed?
Perhaps her ladyship has forgotten, but Miss Swire was killed by a blow to the head from an errant croquet ball.
A croquet ball? Well, where did that come from?
Alas, it was driven by your ladyship.
Fascinating. You really don't remember the incident?
I remember playing croquet on the great lawn. I remember losing my ball at one point.
Yes, milady, it was embedded in Miss Swire's skull.
I took a 2-stroke penalty for that loss.
And that was the last governess employed by the Samson.
It was, my lord.
So your girls have had no instruction since they were 6 years old?
So it would seem. That would explain their terrible French.
You do realize what this means, of course.
Yes, it's been 10 years since I've played croquet.
Your daughters are in dire need of instruction, if not keep others from regarding them as ill-bred.
Agreed. Being well-bred is simply not enough.
It is not.
It is the appearance of being well-bred that is truly important.
Agreed. And that is why they must have a strong hand guiding them through this time.
Have you a suitable candidate in mind?
As it happens, I do. The Huxleys employed the renowned teacher, Mr. Ladida.
For their daughter Frisia, the idiot.
Indeed. In 6 months, she went from standing on the carriage house roof with a lantern, pretending to be a lighthouse, to becoming a mistress to a member of Parliament.
Well, never let it be said that membership in the British aristocracy precludes social ascension. But a male governess.
At their age, your daughters need a teacher more than a nanny. That is where this gentleman excels, I'm told.
Can you contact this, Mr. Ladidar?
He is a denizen of all the fashionable places.
Send a letter to Mr. Ladidar of all the fashionable places at once, asking him to pay a call.
Of course, milady.
Thank you, Tufton.
Has Pembroke been with you long?
Oh, since the first days. He was born with a serving tray in his hand.
How irksome for his mother.
How can I thank you, Sir Geoffrey?
Oh, I'm sure I'll think of something.
Yes, it certainly seems that you are.
It is my hope that in doing you this service that I may prove to you my regard.
In a way that 8 separate visits over the past fortnight have not.
As I am a gentleman, I am incapable of saying more.
Then I am indeed thankful for you being a gentleman, if for no other reason than the cessation of this conversation.
I only wish that I could be more common, then perhaps I could tell you my feelings.
That the common people have feelings is their own affair, Sir Geoffrey. It is of no interest to me. Now, if you will excuse me, I must go and berate the kitchen staff for food they have yet to prepare.
I'll leave you to your day. Good afternoon, Lady Mouse.
Good afternoon, Sir Geoffrey.
I've never seen this room get even a little messy. They all just sit around reading the same book and sipping tea. Why am I always tidying it up?
Her ladyship doesn't like unfluffed pillows.
What's the difference?
See that pillow in your hand? Drop it on the floor.
Okay,
Now it's fluffed.
I see.
We'll do the bedrooms next.
What do we do there?
Drop everything on the floor and pick it back up again, of course.
That's another thing. Why does Lady Marigold and Lady Alice make their own beds?
They don't. Neither of them know how to use blankets. They just sleep on top of everything.
Go on.
It's true. Lady Clematis is the only one with any sense.
Oh, she's so nice.
I'm terribly sorry. I'm looking for Lady Clematis.
I believe she's taken an afternoon constitutional to a tea set.
I see. Could you point me in the right direction?
Can I help?
I was just telling this young lady that...
That is not a young lady. That is a woman in service. Whether she is a lady or not is only important to a potential husband or her minister. It is of no concern to you. I am Pembroke, her ladyship's butler, and you are...
Thaddeus Parsnip.
And what business have you with this house, Mr. Parsnip?
I'm looking for Clematis.
How exactly did you get in?
Clematis and I usually meet in the stables. However, she didn't come today. The back door was open, so I thought I would look for her.
Lady Clematis is otherwise engaged. If you would care to wait in the library, I will inform her ladyship of your arrival.
That's really not necessary. If you could just tell me where she is.
Sir, I do not wish to appear rude, but it is essential that all guests of the family arrive through the front entrance and then make themselves available to be announced. British society is based on the premise that one can decide whether one wants to receive the person calling or pretend that one is not at home. A plausible excuse is what keeps us from descending into barbarism.
But you've already told me she's here.
Really? Do you have any evidence to support that claim?
No.
Any written affidavit stating her ladyship's presence?
No.
Sworn testimony?
No.
Any spectators to this alleged conversation?
Well, you.
It is likely I would prove a hostile witness.
I see.
If there's nothing else, the library is this way.
Thank you, Pembroke.
What'd you make of all that?
It seems that Lady Clematis has a fancy man.
Oh, good for her, I say. You know it ain't natural for these folks to keep marrying their own cousins.
Where's Mr. Pembroke? I wasn't allowed to answer the door at my last place.
He's taking that boy to the library, and if he's smart, he'll stay with him there.
Well, someone's got to answer the door.
It's all yours.
Oh.
Where's my husband? Have you seen Sir Geoffrey?
Been and gone, my lady, I'm afraid.
Are you sure?
Quite, my lady. Sir Geoffrey spoke briefly with Lady Manners and then departed. Now, if you'll excuse me, I must get back to my cleaning.
That man. Have you ever?
No, milady. I'd lose my position.
For what?
If I ever...
For what?
I've no idea, milady. My mother said I should never with a man until I was married.
If I knew what you were talking about, I would
sound advice.
Taylor, what have I told you about leaving the door open? You never know what might try to get in. Rafflesia, what a surprise.
Begonia, I'm looking for my husband.
Oh, I'm afraid I can't help you. He was here, and then he left.
But I can't find him. I've been to his mother's and she said he'd left.
In the future, it might be wise to not put things down if you don't want to lose sight of them.
Thank you for your wise words. But they do nothing to help me locate Sir Geoffrey.
Well, perhaps he stopped off for lunch at the public house before returning to Wixford.
Which one?
How should I know? I neither frequent public houses nor keep tabs on other women's husbands. I'm afraid I'm quite ineligible to give you any further statements regarding Sir Geoffrey's whereabouts as a result. Perhaps you could hire a detective.
Perhaps I will, Lady Manners.
Ah. Now I'm Lady Manners and not Begonia. Very well, Lady Barrett.
Since we are in opposition, I thought it would be best to adopt some formality.
Can I still be in opposition and agree with you on that point?
I'm angry and mistrustful of you, but like any good English woman, I will always stand on ceremony.
And like any good English woman, if I had any respect for you, I would respect that.
I think I will hire a detective to investigate. And if it is reported back to me that my husband has been making frequent visits to this estate, there will be consequences.
Oh, my dear. Do not speak to me about consequences. I have lived such an existence as to become studiously free of consequences. It has been my life's ambition, in fact.
This is not the end of this, Lady Manners.
No, I'm sure that it is not. Alas, only good things ever seem to come to an end. Good day, Lady Barrett. That will be all, Dominique.
Cricket block and brush.
Sir, I asked you to please wait in the library.
Clematis! I heard voices. Where is she?
What is the meaning of this?
Pardon, milady. This young man is attempting to pay a call on Lady Clematis. He has been directed to wait within the library until such time as a decision could be made regarding the truth or fiction of your daughter's presence within, but he bolted before I could stop him.
What do I pay a butler for but to keep undesirables away from this house? As you know, the list of undesirables is in constant flux and is known to no one but me. Really, Higgins, I expected so much more.
I'm terribly sorry for my behavior, Lady Manners. My name is Thaddeus Parsnip.
Parsnip. I'm not familiar with the name.
My family name is Dalrymple, but my late mother was a parsnip. I took her name out of respect when my father passed in a tragic poker accident.
No parents at all? Well, how were you raised?
By my sainted grandmother, Lobelia Parsnip.
And do you think she would be in favour of your actions here at this house?
Unfortunately, she too has passed.
Extraordinary. Have you no remaining relatives on this plane of existence?
None, milady.
Well, I should think you might take it personally that everyone related to you is dead. But, to the root of the matter, Master Parsnip, if you had not been caught by my butler, what was your intention for today's visit?
Well, I'm not ashamed to say, Lady Manners, that I am in love with Lady Clematis.
Well, that only proves Unless you're Belgian, of course.
Why are only the Belgians allowed to express their love without shame?
No. I meant that being Belgian is an even more grievous embarrassment than proclaiming one's love in public. Second only, perhaps, to American politics for pure mortification.
Nevertheless, now that I'm here, Lady Manners, I would like to ask for Lady Clematis's hand in marriage.
Shall I fetch the tea, milady?
Would you care for some tea, Master Parsley?
That would be lovely. Thank you.
Well, it is my house, and I would not. So no, thank you, Bronson.
As you wish, milady.
So, you wish to marry Clematis?
Yes, I do, Lady Manners, and I don't care who knows it.
Watch yourself, young man. Impudence is a quality highly sought after by heroic men in fanciful novels and nowhere else.
I do apologize.
What are your prospects?
I work as a writer.
What kind of a writer?
I'm a reporter for the Daily Telegraph.
Well, which is it? Are you a writer or a newspaper journalist? You can't be both.
Lady Manners, I know you think I might not be good enough for Lady Clematis.
I assure you there is no ambiguity in my feelings with regards to your being good enough.
But surely, if Clematis loves me...
What my daughter may know of love comes solely from the racy novels that I see her sneak into this house. I'm afraid that if you are not a secret duke with a troubled past, that you will seem quite ordinary to Clematis.
Excuse me, Lady Manners, but Lady Clematis and I have both expressed our love to each other.
Repeating a mispresumption does not make it so. Ask any man the day after he is voted.
Nevertheless, I am in love with Lady Clematis and she is in love with me.
Really?
And regardless of whether we have your blessings or not, we shall marry.
Really?
Yes, really.
With no dowry?
Oh, I have no interest in your money, Lady Manners.
Careful, boy. A man with no interest in money is either lying or a Trappist monk. Are you interested in a life sworn to celibacy?
Well, since you have brought it up, Lady Manners, how do you know that Lady Clematis and I have not already consummated our relationship? Pardon my vulgar language.
Well, you will pardon me if I tell you that there is no consummation without a formal contract of marriage. The exchange of anything fluid other than assets is not legally binding.
So, I can't say anything to change your mind?
The British aristocracy has not persevered by mind changing.
Very well, Lady Manners. Will you at least tell Lady Clematis I was asking for her?
I will do nothing of the sort, and you will leave this house immediately.
Yes, milady?
Young Master Parsnip was just leaving. Please help him towards the door so he doesn't lose his way.
If you would, sir.
And if I refuse?
Haven't you made enough of a scene already?
I'm sorry, Lady Manners, but I will not be moved.
Young sir, we have a large contingent of unpredictably inebriated Irishmen in the employ of her ladyship. An announcement that you despoiled a young lady named Catherine from, say, Sligo, for instance, would be enough to garner a reaction from those gentlemen and ensure your forcible removal from the property.
I don't know anybody named Catherine.
Neither do I. But I assure you, each one of the Irishmen do. Perhaps a younger sister?
You wouldn't.
He would.
Very well, Lady Manners. I'll take my leave.
An excellent idea. I'd rather have an unwanted guest come up with leaving on their own, but as long as the end result is the same, I am content. Good day, Master Parsnip.
Good day, milady.
Please see that he makes his way off the property.
Of course, madam.
Is the coast clear?
An interesting nautical phrase, Sir Geoffrey. It conjures up images of enemy ships at sea and a sharp-eyed lookout waiting to send word of an incipient invasion.
Right.
So, as the sentinel in this metaphor, I can tell you that the old scow that is your wife has set sail.
Good.
How dare you! Is that the reason for your frequent visits?
Begonia, you are the one that I was.
Sir Geoffrey, while I am quite sure that you have your reasons for your behavior, I must confess that any arrangement between us, lurid or sanctified, is the furthest from my mind.
But how can you say that? We have so much in common.
There is no we, Sir Geoffrey. I must ask you to leave.
But you're a wealthy widow, and I'm from an important family.
Really, Sir Geoffrey, you are a married man.
Oh, that. What if I told you that my wife has had a medical procedure to seal her limbs in? And has refused me entry?
Well, I would say that it is a man's job to try and enter the holiest of houses. But it is up to a woman to keep an eye on who's coming. And who's going.
My dear Lady Manners, if I knock on your door, will you answer?
Sir Geoffrey, you are not at liberty to knock on mine nor anyone else's door.
But if things were to change...
The scope of things that would need changing before I would entertain such an advance is simply staggering.
What if things were to align?
You speak in hypotheticals, Sir Geoffrey, and I never converse in possibilities, only in facts. As you can plainly see, my life is based on reality. Now, if you will excuse me, I am late for a meeting with the man who's making the suit for my dog's presentation at court next month. Please see yourself out.
Excuse me.
Lady Babbitt, you're back. You frightened me.
That is in keeping with the social order, is it not? People of your strata should live in mortal fear of their betters. It is the very glue that holds our society together.
Yes, of course, my lady, I meant no offense. Shall I get Mr. Pembroke to announce you to her ladyship?
No, I am not here to see Lady Manners.
You're not?
Not in the slightest.
I see. Well, I'll go get Mr. Pembroke and show you to the appropriate room.
Stay right there.
Yes, my lady.
I am here to see if my husband turns up again.
I'm sorry?
He disappears for extended walks. I've come to believe that he is a frequent visitor to this house. Oh, for heaven's sake, child, either confirm or deny my suspicions. Regardless of your claims, I know what I believe.
Then why must I say anything?
It is merely a formality. I say that my husband has been sneaking over to this house for some time. You deny it, I catch him red-handed, and that's that. The process maintains a time-honored tradition of suspicious wives and their wandering husbands.
Yes, my lady.
Half the popular novels of the day are predicated on this very basic tenet.
Yes, my lady.
By your refusal to participate, you are undermining the rich history of British literature. And I will not stand here and have the reputation of Miss Jane Austen sullied in such a fashion!
Yes, my lady.
Now, though I believe repetition is vulgar in questioning, as well as flower arranging, I repeat my suspicion that my husband, if not here at present, has been a visitor to this house on several occasions of late, and to
you say?
Not so, my lady. I've not laid eyes on your husband in quite a while.
Very good. I shall continue my observation of the entryway at another time.
Yes, my lady.
One question. Is it appropriate for a servant to lay eyes on their betters? My housemates have never raised their vision above my head. I could quite easily have 3 heads and tentacles for all they know.
You don't have 3 heads, my lady, as far as I can tell.
Your scrutiny concerning the tally of skulls I may or may not possess is not something commensurate with your level in the hierarchy of our society.
I understand, my lady.
Now, I will leave you, for I feel to linger in the shadows is something more appropriate for sneak thieves, murderers, and political canvassers.
Of course, my lady. Good day.
Deidre, whatever has taken so long? There's a large puddle of dog urine in the gallery, and Mr. Pembroke has ordered that we clean it up immediately.
I just had the strangest conversation.
With who?
With no one. Let's go to the gallery. Did you say dog urine?
Yes.
The family keeps all their pets in the animal mansion across the pond. There's a little dog in the house just before the girls were born.
Then what could have left that huge puddle of... Oh, never mind.
Mr. Roquefort Ladida, to see you, milady.
Thank you, Stubing. Show him in.
Lady Magnus was a pleasure.
Mr. Ladida, thank you for coming so quickly.
Ask anyone. I am renowned for doing just that.
Wonderful.
Was a beautiful summer, as long as I confess, no?
Yes, quite, Mr. Ladida.
Roquefort, please, a lady.
Carrot, bring Mr. Ladida some cheese.
Of course, milady.
Shall I set a tea on the lady?
Did I ring for tea?
You must have, my lady, as I wouldn't have known to bring it.
Of course. Tea, Mr. Roquefort.
Yes, thank you, Lady Magnus.
That will be all, Dominique.
Would be on, my lady.
Quite an efficient staff you have here, Lady Magnus.
Thank you. Now, down to brass tacks. I have 3 daughters.
Their names?
Marigold, Iris, and Clematis.
And you would like them instructed in the fine art points of polite society.
Oh no, not polite society. I mean the society that I am a member of. When you have money and title, the need to be polite can be superfluous. I'm sure you understand.
I'm sure that I do, my lady.
It has recently come to my attention that my daughters have not been instructed for several years due to the loss of their governess.
Staff issues can be quite vexing. Can I ask, why is the governess is no longer employed?
She died, it would seem.
Oh, how terribly unprofessional of her. What was the cause of death?
A blow to the head by a croquet ball.
Occupation, Mademoiselle Lady Magnus.
Clematis are in their dressing chamber. Lady Clematis is in the stable.
Does Lady Clematis ride?
She plays with the horse Dun. She creates sculptures.
I'm very colourful of her.
Ask them to come and see me in the sitting room right away.
Of course, milady.
So, what is the cost associated with your instruction?
Well, it depends on the young lady, really, and what her parents' expectation was. How do you see your girls in 20 years' time?
As wealthy widows with large estates and very little to occupy themselves.
I see. So they are always in the upping.
Oh, of course. An unmarried woman in our social circle is an object of scorn and pity. Without the common bond of suffering beneath the crushing weight of marriage, women naturally ostracize the spinsters and the matrons.
These old spinsters, who would we jeer for being repressed?
Exactly. Well, looking down on others is the cornerstone of every great society. Favourable marriages are every good mother's wish, and my daughters should be free to do whatever I want.
It is so refreshing to see one's loved ones nothing but the best for each other.
Then, as long as they are not better than me, I am content.
Truly, they are not of the well-born English.
Mama, what's the meaning of this? You were very busy breaking the spirit of the new lady's veil.
Where is your sister?
Washing up her morning's art window. I told her to stop bringing it into house.
Girls, may I present your new governess, Mr. Ladida?
A pleasure, lady.
Arnold.
Lady Magical. And you must be Lady Iris.
You're quite beautiful.
Iris, how many times have I told you not to speak your mind when meetings are?
I'm sorry, Mama. I've just never seen a man dressed so impeccably before.
A momentary lapse, I am sure. I am looking forward to working with you both.
I'm sorry it took so long, Mama. Everything was a bit runny this morning and nothing stuck up. Oh, hello.
Good day, Lady Clematis. I am Grofera Ladina, your new governess.
Mama, why aren't we the governess? We're grown up now.
Clematis, you shall not speak of being grown up until I proclaim you to be grown up.
Mama.
A wealthy widow with grown children stands little chance of being mistaken for a young debutante, regardless of the size of her fortune. I cannot be owned if you are not owned.
Lady Manos, I can assure you, you are still in the flower of youth.
Even a perennial likes a little fertilizer, Mr. Ladida. Girls, pay attention to Mr. Ladida's instructions. Your coming out will be here before you know it. Mr. Ladida, I leave them in your capable hands.
Alone at last, ladies. The first rule of being a lady is to never react to an improper comment, such as the one I just made.
That's the best rule. Is there a second rule? Or is there only the one?
I feel done. Thank you, Mr. Ladina.
Stop! Not one of you bowed as you left. Apparently, we must start from scratch. Tell me, Lady Iris, how do you lift your skirt to cross the street? Is incorrect. Lady Madrigal, please answer the question.
What was the question?
Lady Clematis, how do you lift your skirt to cross the street?
With my hand.
Yes, but About which hand?
Both.
It's the right hand. To use both hands is considered vulgar.
Is it all right if my lady's maid uses both hands to lift my skirt?
Yes, servants are vulgar already. It's not like I ever think them anymore. Vulgar.
It's the right hand. No matter whose hand it is.
What if my maid drops my skirt when I'm crossing the street?
Oh yes, our pleasant lady's maid was struck and killed.
By the other lady's skirt in the middle of the street.
Well, she was lifting your skirt.
So he was lucky the undertaker was there.
Very sad.
That must have been awful.
Oh, it was. I loved that skirt.
Ladies, I see that our lessons will require more one-on-one work.
I'm sure you could help me lift my skirt.
Lady Iris, Lady Clematis, would you excuse Marigold and I?
Sorry. Mr. Medita. Just not as polished as I should be.
The fault is not yours. The fault lies in an errant croquet ball. All the more reason to avoid sport at all costs.
So, where do we start?
Your mother wishes you to marry.
True. I have no idea who to choose, though.
Fortunately for us, in our society, young people do not make such decisions. Youthful love is directed by adults who know better. Let me see you use your fan.
My fan.
Yes, a lady's fan can say so much.
And what does it say? Besides, I'm warm.
At that speed, you are telling the world that you are married.
Oh. What if I slow it down?
Engaged.
I have no idea.
Do as I did, Lady Marigold.
And what is this?
We are being watched.
We are?
No, we're not.
Well, then why did you say so?
It's what the fan says. I am desirous of your acquaintance.
Well, I beg your pardon, Mr. Medita, but we have already been introduced. Oh. I get it.
You are too willing.
You are too willing.
You have changed.
You have changed.
I hate you.
I hate you.
I love you.
I love you.
Kiss me. Yes.
Good morning, daughter!
I'm off to battle the Aboriginal Canadians today. Tell your mother I shan't be home for my supper.
Mama died 30 years ago, Papa.
Right then. My thought is you won't have to keep it warm for me.
Countess Peony Manor.
What a pleasant surprise.
For who? You, the servants, God? Really, Tony, if you want to say something totally devoid of substance or truth, please limit the conversation to politics.
Of course, Mama.
As I am not your mother, but your mother-in-law, perhaps you should address me in a different fashion.
Mama-in-law.
Countess would suffice for a start.
Start? I have known you for 20 years.
Perhaps we can attain better acquaintance later on. Perhaps when one of us is dead. No need to rush.
You remember my father, Captain Marcus?
Arthur, you're still alive, I see.
Fanny, what are you doing on this ship? Have you been taken captive by pirates?
Please, put your sword away. This is not a ship. It is a home. Our home.
My great son's home.
You're on dry land. There are no pirates.
Nonsense! We're under full sail!
I have already had the maids bring in all the bed sheets. He has hung out the windows, milady.
Thank you, Chamberlain.
Privately.
Captain Martin, would you care to inspect the brig?
Jolly good. Will there be tea and cakes afterward?
Without a doubt, as I will be taking you down to the kitchens as always.
Now, I still think that allowing prisoners to cook their own meals is far too progressive.
Agreed, but please, leave the lashings to me this time. The staff has complained.
If you insist.
I do. This way, Captain.
Send the brigade to guard the king's gold. It's in my quarters under the bed.
The king's gold.
A box of torn stockings and bits of thread he's collected over the years.
Is the captain dangerous?
He keeps his ceremonial sword sharp and draws it whenever he feels threatened.
Does that occur often?
Probably more often than it should. But so far, he's only ever wounded the odd delivery boy and once took the ear off one of the kitchen maids.
So nothing important then?
The coat rack in the hall hasn't fared too well. He keeps challenging it to a duel, claiming that it stole his best jacket.
Quite sensible.
I'm quite certain I did not ring for tea, though, right?
Of course, my lady. But do you want some tea?
Well, of course I do.
What a ridiculous question.
We are two members of the elite upper classes. What other beverage would we consume? Turpentine?
Yes, my lady.
Thank you, Smith. That will be all.
Begonia, I have just seen Mr. Wilson, and he tells me that without a new influx of cash, the estate is in danger of collapse. Is that true? Have you really wasted all of Mortimer's fortune?
Yes. Addison Park is an expensive proposition. The girls and I live within our means, of course, but the estate's expenses are constantly increasing.
How many house staff at present?
We are running a bare-bones retinue of 147. The coachmen must all share a secretary now, instead of each of them having their own.
Have they complained?
I couldn't say. They're not allowed in the house.
How do you communicate with them to arrange transport?
Notes tied to rocks thrown at the carriage house from the upper balcony.
And you found that effective?
Well, if nothing else, it's driven off all but one of the secretaries.
What else?
It seems we have not had a governess on the payroll for several years.
Really? How did you escape that expense? Is your governess in debt to our family through a drunken relation's bail money?
No, she died.
How fiscally responsible of her.
So, as you can see, we are doing all that we can here.
How soon before my granddaughters marry? They can't hope to escape the disappointment that matrimony brings forever.
They are of age, and to that end, I have employed an instructor, a Mr. Roquefort Lardidar. He will guide them through this time and teach them what they need to know to make a good and beneficial match.
With 3 eligible daughters, the odds of a monetarily advantageous match are greatly increased.
Quite. Even if the odds of happiness are not.
But any potential husbands will likely have their own estates to support already.
That is true. I shall hope for a landed son-in-law with discretionary income enough to subsidize 2 houses.
Aristocracy has not survived on hope. Hope is a bomb of the middle class. Our kind ensures the results we want.
And how, pray tell, do I ensure supporting income for Manners Manor and Addison Park?
You must remarry.
With no negative reflection on your deceased son, Countess, you must agree that the husband who dies before his wife is the husband every woman devoutly wishes for.
I don't disagree, Begonia. I enjoy mourning my own husband's death more than most people would the arrival of a new puppy. But we must cast aside our desire for charismatic widowhood and focus on what is truly important, the survival of the estate of our territory.
As a mother, I am not well acquainted with the notion of sacrifice, but I believe I understand its concept.
Good. Have you any likely candidates in mind?
Lord Carlisle has a beautiful estate, but sadly was blessed with 12 sons in addition to his late daughter.
Well, was Lady Carlisle ever employed in anything other than procreation?
Not much. The poor woman would get terribly lightheaded every time she would stand up.
She obviously spent a great deal of time in a horizontal configuration. What of Lord Seeley?
Lord Seeley, the bedding magnate.
Yes, I know he's quite aged, but he is quite well to do, I'm told.
Yes, I have heard the same. Strange that he never married.
Perhaps you are the ideal woman for him.
Oh, I think I would have been, were it not for one small problem.
What is that?
Lord Seeley passed away 2 years ago.
I can see how that might be a hindrance to a romantic union. Have you any family friends living about?
Sir Geoffrey Ballet has been a frequent guest.
You've invited him into this house often.
Sir Geoffrey has invited himself.
How terribly forward of him, and yet so perfectly male of him. Sir Geoffrey is married, is he not?
Yes, and that is the least of his flaws.
All potential husbands are inherently flawed by their very definition as men. A woman must marry for a place in society. Why men marry is anyone's guess.
But he is married, and that is a serious impediment.
Serious perhaps, but not insurmountable. What do we know of Lady Vanna?
We do not socialize often.
What of that? With enough money, one hardly need be social in order to keep up communications with potential husbands' wives. What do you like?
Rather odd. Her only striking personality point is her voracious jealousy. If she were a far more interesting person, she might be considered mercurial. As it is, she has the vivacity of oatmeal without any fibre, moral or otherwise. Sir Geoffrey claims that he is unhappy because she refuses him his husbandly rights.
And are you in a position to grant him those rights?
It has been several years, but I think that a motivated explorer could. Reach it.
loyalty. What do we know of her hobbies?
She's excessively fond of horses.
As pets? As dinner?
She rides.
Ah. Would that be something?
And her interest in riding already greatly exceeds her interest in being interesting.
Perhaps her hobby could serve as a distraction from her jealousy.
I can't imagine how.
I can. Leave it to me, my dear.
Yes, my lady.
Pembroke, send a note to my master of the horses, Mr. Saddlewell. Tell him to bring that stallion, Giganta, that just arrived, to Lady Ballet at Wexford. Say that it is a present from Lady Manners.
Of course, my lady. Right away.
I confess I don't understand your gift. Surely Lady Ballet has any number of horses already.
Not one like this, I can assure you. The horse was a gift from my cousin, Sir Nicholas. Mr. Saddlewell has been trying to train the beast for a month to no avail. All the grooms call him Ivan the Terrible. Like any Russian male, this animal is unpredictable in breed. He should keep Lady Ballet busy.
Don't you think that going after a married man is common?
Only if it is done commonly. I expect you to be better than that. After all, not only is the estate at risk, but financial ruin would prove seriously disruptive to our way of life. And nothing is more important than preserving our way of life.
Very well. I shall summon Sir Geoffrey this afternoon.
And perhaps I can do some research on my own. Good day, Begonia.
Oh, your ladyship. Good day to you.
Good day, Mr. Winthrop. What brings you to Addison Park?
I'm here to see if Lady Manners has had any luck with a new source of revenue.
Quite possibly.
Wonderful news, what is it?
First, Mr. Winthrop, may I ask you a question?
Of course, your ladyship.
You were my husband's solicitor, my son's solicitor, and now you are the solicitor for my daughter-in-law's estate.
That is true.
You have been in the employ of our family for many years, and in that time, have we ever asked you to betray confidential information about another of your clients?
No, of course not, your ladyship.
We are faced with a situation and are in need of information regarding Wexford and Sir Geoffrey Ballet's candle-making fortune.
I'm afraid I am unable to comment. My profession follows an ethical code.
An ethical code? You mean of the sort that religious leaders and politicians swear to?
Exactly so.
Then the inducement to violate your code must be the same.
But of course.
Forgive my ignorance in this situation, but what is the going rate for betrayal? Will this be a negotiation or is there a flat rate?
Actually, I've had a price list printed. For financial information treasury.
Would that politicians might be so well organized?
The badge of honor in my profession that we speak plainly and provide the latest information to our clients. Technology has advanced to the point where I'm able to have this list professionally printed and enumerated.
Do you need to print new ones often?
Oh, some solicitors may alter their rates with market changes, but I like to consider myself to be above all that.
A sort of legacy price?
Exactly.
I think a number 5 is what I require at the moment.
Very good, milady. Brief financial forecast for Sir Geoffrey, then.
If you would.
Sir Geoffrey's candle fortune has boomed. He will be forced to sell Wexford with some form of concern.
Is Wixford considered a valuable property?
Very much so, my lady. He should fetch an excellent price for the artwork, the buildings, and the furniture alone. As there are no children nor heirs, all the money would be his, and more than enough to settle all his current debts.
Really?
Safe to say, he could easily have enough left over to set himself up with an estate the size of this one.
Thank you, Mr. Wixford. Your insights are much appreciated. Please add the cost of this information to my bill.
With pleasure, Countess. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have a similar appointment with an MP's son and wife.
Don't tell me that he is a liberal.
Of course not. I am a Tory. I would only ever betray members of the Tory party. I do have my standards, after all. Good day, Countess.
Thank you so much for the invitation to tea, Lady Manners. As always, it is a delight to see you once again.
Sir Geoffrey, you were here on 3 different occasions yesterday.
And yet it feels like an eternity.
Kindly avoid similes with me, Sir Geoffrey. I'm not comfortable being compared in such an intimate fashion.
Of course.
How is Lady Ballard?
Quite enamored of that new horse. In fact, I've never seen Raphasia so passionate about anything in all of our married years. More's the pity.
Excuse me.
Nothing. It's just that she quite dotes on her new beast. It was quite thoughtful and generous gift.
Well, I thought that in the interest of peaceful relations, a gift might be appropriate to convince your wife that I wish her well.
You truly are too kind. Yesterday, Lady Ballard went to the stables before dawn and didn't come back until late in the evening.
She likes long rides, does she?
I wouldn't know. I've had only the briefest of rides with her.
I see.
So, how are your daughters coming along?
Oh, quite well, I believe. It seems Mr. Lardidar has everything well in hand.
Oh, excellent. I'm so glad that my recommendation has worked out so well.
Yes, quite.
And your dear father?
What of him?
He is well, I hope.
As well as can be, considering his mental state. I'm afraid that the dementia that once presented itself as a series of personality quirks has now grown into quite colourful behaviour. More in keeping with the subject of an Irish joke.
How troubling for you.
Oh no, not at all. When children are young, their parents are always saying that they're driving them mad. I see my father's lunacy as a prophecy fulfilled.
So, may I be so bold as to ask if your invitation today can be seen as a thorn in our relationship?
Perhaps. Let me be plain with you, Sir Geoffrey, as time and, frankly, interest in drawing this out are in short supply. If I were to accede to your base declaration and be your wife, how would you arrange your current situation?
In what way?
You already have a wife, Sir Geoffrey. I have no affection for the bohemian lifestyle, as I value hygiene and bathing too highly.
I have spoken with a lawyer, and it seems I may divorce Malaysia at any time, due to her refusal of her wifely duties.
I had no idea that bed refusal was grounds for divorce.
Indeed.
Do you know, is the reverse also true? Can a woman divorce a man for refusal to consummate?
I think not, Lady Manners, as it would be so incredibly rare and unusual for the man to refuse a woman's bed. The law, sensibly understanding the realities of men's physical needs, knows that a man's humours can be horribly stifled if not given frequent release. Medical studies have shown men can have a rupture from pent-up fluids.
Don't speak of such things, Sir Geoffrey. That is a consecrated conversation to be held only between a man and his wife.
My apologies, Lady Manners. Or may I call you Begonia?
Lady Manners will do until we might be married. And even after.
Surely you would take my name.
I would not. Though I am no new thinker, a social radical, an alliterative name like Begonia Ballot only seems appropriate for a stage performer or a poor person. But I have no intention of becoming either.
Stay here, my lady. Your sisters will be to your room.
Do that for me.
But lady, you're the only person in this house who's treating me like a human being. If I was going to risk my position for anyone in this place, you're the one.
Thank you, Taylor.
I'll sync you up in a bit. I'll tell him to knock 4 times. See? That way you'll know it's him.
So clever, Taylor. Well done.
Thank you, lady.
Hello, is anyone at home?
Come in, Grandpa.
Oh, it's you. I thought this was a cell belonging to Anne Boleyn. The king wants to see her.
Grandpapa, Anne Boleyn is dead. So is King Henry.
Good heavens.
It's true for many years now.
I just saw him the other day. He was raking the lawn, dressed as a gardener. He said, "Oh, good morning, Your Highness." I said, "Good morning, Captain Martin." I was certain it was King Henry.
I'm afraid not, Grandpa.
He gave me a crown.
The gardener did say she took a sack picking up sticks and placed it on your head.
It's a lovely crown. I've stored it with my treasure.
I'm glad.
Yeah, what's the matter, dear? You seem a bit anxious.
Do I?
Are you preparing for your debut at the opera? I hope to achieve. Just love a good German writer.
I'm waiting for someone.
The conductor?
Younger gentleman.
Clematis, your mother wants to see you.
Thank you for coming all the way up here, Grandmama.
One would think I had sprouted feathers and taken up employment as a carrier pigeon.
You don't seem any more bird-like than usual, Peony.
Arthur, please avoid paying a compliment when your account is overdrawn.
Now that's a pigeon. Just look at the size of it.
Yes, very nice, Arthur.
At last, my darling! Oh, quickly, my beautiful one. Let's make love. My loins are burning for you.
Stop.
It's been so long, my love.
I don't believe we've been introduced.
Clematis, have you seen your grandmother? I sent her.
Begonia, do you know this young man?
Yes, he's an admirer of Clematis. He's been removed from his house once already.
This is my grandmother, the Countess of Aston.
Your Grace.
Try again.
Mom?
Not quite.
Milady.
And a bow finishes the name so well, don't you agree, young man?
Yes, milady.
Much as I dislike touching a stranger, I put that aside in order to bring you to here. Begonia sent for Dr. Valentine. I have reason to suspect that your daughter Clematis is no longer pure, and she must be examined. We'll all sit in the parlor to wait and to get better acquainted with one another. I'm sure we have many things to talk about.
Well, with today's medical advances, because it's no longer necessary for me to visit the sick in order to treat anything, even smallpox, for instance.
What kind of advances?
I send nurses to the infected home instead. Keeps me away from the nasty bits. I despise being among the sick.
Have you had difficulty training a nurse for this duty?
No, not at all. The greatest challenge seems to be that the nurses keep contracting smallpox and dying. Run through a dozen in the last month.
How inconvenient for you.
Quite. I long for the day when I no longer have to see patients or nurses at all.
Yet here you are today.
Yes, well, the administration of a virtue test rarely kills the person giving it.
How fascinating.
Do you suppose I could have some tea?
No, but of course. The tea should arrive at any moment.
Shouldn't you ring for it first?
Quite unnecessary, Doctor. Just wait.
Perhaps if you'd allow me to...
No. Don't bother yourself. The tea should arrive right...
Well, perhaps not.
Dreadfully sorry, my lady. There was a bit of a bottleneck in the ventilation grate. Some of the outside staff saw the doctor come in and crowded around to listen.
No matter. I meant to speak with caretaker about installing a second one to relieve the traffic congestion around the furnace.
Thank you, my lady.
Leave the trade maker after you have served the doctor.
Yes, my lady.
Thank you.
You're welcome, my lady.
That will be all.
Very good, my lady.
Time to go.
But the line, my lady.
Fine. But be sure to make my character look good in your account.
Yes, my lady.
Take notes in case I say anything stunningly bright.
Of course.
So, Doctor, have you concluded your examination of my granddaughter?
Oh, I have, my lady. In addition to Ladies Iris and Lady Marigold.
Why were they examined as well?
They entered the room as I finished examining Lady Clematis, and they both just took off their clothes.
How shocking!
Not to me. As a doctor, I am immune to the effects of the nubile young woman's body. I barely cast a thought to Marigold's heaving bosom or Iris's tight derriere.
How monastic of you.
The examination went quite quickly after I gave them both injections.
Injection?
Yes, they were quite hysterical and animated, and as a doctor, I find it easier and quieter to examine unconscious women.
What kind of refined medicine did you give them?
Pure opium from the continent.
Doctor, are you certain that the administration of opium is appropriate in this case?
Hysteria is exclusively a woman's disease, and at present there are two known treatments. One is the injection of pure opium into the victim.
And the other?
The removal of males from the vicinity.
How does the absence of men cure hysteria in women?
Well, it does not, but studies have shown that if a man can no longer witness a woman's hysteria, it ceases to be of any concern.
How long will they be unconscious?
Well, opium can be a tricky business. Its effects are widespread and varied. I would say any amount of time between 15 minutes and a month.
Perhaps I should go to them now.
A moment, if you please, until we hear from the doctor.
Yes. Please tell me, what were your findings?
Lady Iris and Lady Marigold are no longer Virgo intacta.
Excuse me.
They are spoiled.
Oh, I don't think so, Doctor. My girls have had a Spartan upbringing.
I mean, they are no longer maidens.
What? But how?
thinks of England?
Spare me, Doctor, though it was only once. I believe I am familiar with the ins and outs of copulation.
That's as may be, but your daughters have been sullied.
But how? They are not in the company of any men. Except Mr. Ladida.
Mr. Ladida, you are employed to bring my granddaughters up to speed, not to finish the race for them.
Ladita, Roquefort Ladita.
Say,
Lady Manners, a countess, this man is responsible for the impregnation of countless women across the country.
Is this true?
Lady Manners, I can assure you, I am a teacher first and foremost.
And a serial debaucher second.
I have administered virtue tests to scores of young women who have been under his tutelage, and in every single case, Mr. Ladida here has been the agent of their ruin. Look at him!
He does dress rather flamboyantly.
The women seem to be attracted to excess. It reminds them of themselves.
Mr. Ladida, what have you got to say for yourself?
I say... Is this the king? Your Majesty over here! Pirate attacking! Take that!
Papa, what have you done?
Repelling the pirate attack. The ship is safe.
You've killed him!
Papa, that was not a pirate.
It was dressed as one.
I have to agree with Arnold on this. Young men often emulate ideas in their clothing.
Well, this should serve as warning to others, no doubt.
No, we can't leave him in the hall.
Yes, milady?
There's a dead body.
Yes, milady.
Please see to it.
Christian burial or compost heap, milady?
I should think an unmarked grave would do nicely.
Of course, milady.
I have an excellent crew I've used for those nurses.
How very kind of you, Doctor. Get him outside quickly so he doesn't leak on the rug.
Of course, milady. Come with me. Would you rather the legs or the head?
My mother always made me carry the legs. You can have the head, Mr. Pembroke.
I shall be carrying neither, Miss Taylor. But if another member of staff is unavailable, then I suggest that you lift with your knees and bear the body over your shoulder.
So, Doctor, what did you find in your examination of my daughter Clematis?
She's perfectly healthy and normal, and it's in excellent condition.
Wonderful.
Of course, she's a man, you know.
What?
Lady Clematis is indeed male, Lady Mathis.
Are you sure?
Well, medicine is not an exact science, of course. I have kept extensive records, and my notes indicate that I delivered only 2 girls when you gave birth.
I can't believe it.
And 2 boys.
2? But I have 3 children, Doctor, not 4.
I beg your pardon, Lady Manners, but I delivered quadruplets.
What happened to the other boy?
I have no idea. I was unconscious.
I am running with Thaddeus and are going to be married.
Clematis, now is not the time for this.
There is nothing you can say to change our minds, Lady Manners.
Really?
Nothing.
Even that Clematis is actually male?
Of course Clematis is male. We consummated our relationship in the stables, which has sufficient enough light so that everything was fully revealed.
The stables. So all that time you spent out there wasn't for doing your odd artwork?
Of course not, Mama. The manure sculptures were clever fabrications to prevent being discovered.
Clematis? You are more clever than I gave you credit for.
So you're both men, and this doesn't bother you.
Bother me? Clematis is beautiful, and we're in love.
It's true.
But that means that you are...
Homosexual? That is correct.
By golly, it's like I'm back at the Naval Academy.
Young man, have you always had that deformed left ear?
What? I guess so. Why?
Well, this is rather embarrassing, but when I was delivering your children, Lady Manners, I dropped one.
You dropped one?
Well, after the first baby, the rest were a bit of a surprise, Lady Manners. The second boy came as I was still wiping goo off the first one. He fell to the floor and was silent. I could see that he had landed on his head, denting his left ear. So I bundled him up with the blankets and I brought him to Lobelia Parsnip, who did all my laundry. But I have never forgotten that left ear. This young man is your son.
What?
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 Sorry, brother and sister.
Brother and brother, it would seem.
Please. Mom, serving your tattoo jive. You are indeed male, Lady Claw. Of course I'm male. Idiot.
But the dresses and...
Surely comfortable, especially when brought up wearing them. Like your brothers and sisters, you were born with a full head of long hair. A mistake by an uneducated nanny, I wager. I am surprised, though, that your mother never noticed.
Noticing would imply looking at my children. And I can assure you that I did not lay any eyes on them with any scrutiny during their formative years.
She left childbearing to the professionals, as any good English woman would do.
The recent studies have shown that children should neither be seen nor heard, but kept in crates until of marriageable age.
Oh, come, Clematis. I cannot wait to begin our life together.
Goodbye, Mama. Grandmama.
Well, this is shocking.
It's all quite normal. If one can marry one's cousin in aristocracy, I can't see a problem with two siblings forming a union.
But isn't it unnatural?
Well, to the contrary. Apparently, Lady Clematis has found love in another. The fact that it is her brother is entirely beside the point.
I suppose you would be in keeping with the English tradition.
But the fact that Clematis is actually male.
Oh, the union is no different than what goes on in schools across England. Why, when I was in Edinburgh College, I had any number of classmates.
I will thank you not to describe your exploits at Eton in any greater detail. That the lower classes engage in such assignations of any sort is something I perhaps have to accept as truth, but I certainly do not need to hear of it over tea.
I apologize, lady. I was simply trying to frame Lady Clematis' predicament against my own. I shall go supervise the burial.
Sir Geoffrey, please excuse us. We are in the middle of a crisis here.
As am I, Lady Manners.
What has happened?
My wife has died.
Die?
But I said she was quite taken with the new horse. I misspoke.
How so?
Well, I thought she was out riding. She was actually in the stable the entire time.
Why?
Oh, she did not wish to leave the stable, it seems.
But you said she was taken with the new horse.
Indeed.
What else would she be doing with a huge horse in the stable?
That's just it. She found herself unaccountably attracted to the beast.
My word.
She's dead because the horse seems to have suffered a heart attack and died.
Oh, how awful! But how did Lady Barrett pass? Was she riding it at the time?
In a manner of speaking. They found her in the stable, naked, with the great beast dead on top of her, attempting to mate. She was crushed.
The poor horse.
What a loss.
I've been wandering the town for the past hour, grief-stricken, when suddenly it occurred to me
What?
that my whole reason for retaining Wixford is now gone. I immediately went to the agent and sold the entire property at a great loss.
What will you do now?
I simply do not know. If only there was somewhere I could go.
Yet you found your way here, didn't you?
Quite. As I made my way through the town, I felt as if Lady Manners was beckoning me here to Addison Park.
Your sense of direction in your fog is most admirable.
This awful tragedy could only be improved by an answer from this angel right here.
What answer? What is the question?
The question that I know every woman yearns for.
Really, Sir Geoffrey, you are the most annoying man I have ever met.
Thank you, Lady Manners. I take that as a compliment.
Take it as a proposal of marriage. Most men grow more annoying once they're married. You seem to require no additional effort.
Then, is it a deal?
A deal? Well, I suppose a deal can be reached. The estate of Wexford will settle your debts, and the balance will be put into this estate to ensure it survives.
Have I no say in the matter?
Why should you?
Well, if I am to be a partner in this scheme...
Partner? A figure of speech, I assure you. As I am a traditional man, I fully expect you to take on the role of subservience.
Subservience?
Of course. I am desirous of you, your estate, and your position in the county, but married couples cannot be equals. Surely you must believe that your greatest purpose in life is to satisfy even my smallest whim. We shall marry, you shall send your daughters and your father away, and at last the firm hand will be in charge of Addison Park. That is what people expect to see in the aristocracy. It is the way of the world that men should run it. I am merely making manifest what has always been my destiny.
I beg your pardon, milady, but there was a problem with the burial.
Problem? What else could go wrong today?
I had selected a piece of ground in the garden and called upon the burial crew to begin their work.
You didn't dig up any of my flowers, did you?
Of course not, milady. I chose a grassy spot underneath a giant willow.
Yes, I know the spot well. Lord Manners and I had our first picnic there as a young married couple.
As the doctor's men were digging, they came upon a large chest that had been buried there.
A chest?
What kind of chest?
Was it a wood and steel captain's chest with tartan lining?
Yes, Captain.
Papa, how did you know?
I buried it there some 20 years ago.
Why?
Oh, your mother was morbidly frightened of being robbed, so she insisted all our gold and jewels be hidden.
So you put all your valuables in a chest and buried it?
Several times. When we moved into this house, I dug it up and my pension from His Majesty's Navy was more than enough to sustain us. Then, of course, you married Mortimer, and frankly, I forgot about it.
Pembroke, what were the contents of this chest you discovered?
It is completely filled with old stockings and bits of thread.
Then where is my treasure?
There is no treasure, Papa.
Excuse me, Milady, but I heard you talking about the chest, so I thought Dominique and I would bring it down for you.
No need, Taylor. Pembroke has already told us what was in the chest beneath the willow.
It's of no use to us.
Begging your pardon, Milady, but this chest went under a tree. It went under the captain's bed in his room.
2 chests.
Of course, 2 chests. Do you think I'd keep £1 million worth of gold sovereigns and jewels along with the old stockings and thread? I might be mad, but I'm not crazy.
So there is a fortune sitting outside that door?
Yes, Milady.
Do you know what this means?
That I can finally marry the woman of my dreams.
Pardon me?
This beautiful creature said she'd be mine if I let her look at my box.
The lady's maid.
Of course, who did you think I was talking about? Princess Anastasia?
What do you have to say for yourself?
My late father served on his ship during the Boer War. He often wrote us letters of his kind and extraordinary captain, Arthur Martin. In one letter he told us how he helped his captain move a large sum of gold sovereigns into an old sea chest. Well, I applied for a job at this house so I could meet the man and thank him for his kindness towards my father.
And see if you could find the gold.
But instead, in my short time here, we've become quite close.
What if you marry my father?
Then she shall be your mother.
At long last, you will be free to call someone Mamma.
There is that. And at the cost of becoming financially dependent on an employee of the estate. And it hardly seems worth it.
Milady, I've no need for that fortune now that I've found love.
Extraordinary.
The money is all yours, daughter. I've still got my stockings and thread and this beautiful young woman.
So Manners Manor and Addison Park are safe.
Begonia. Your willingness to sacrifice yourself and enter into a union with this man speaks highly of you.
I never said that I was willing.
That you are no longer called upon to do so only raises your standing in my esteem. It is an honor to call you my daughter-in-law.
What about our deal, Lady Manners?
There is no deal, Sir Geoffrey. There are many things that I would do to keep my estate and my position. Now that they are secure, I find that you are one of the things I won't need to do.
You have offended me to my soul.
Have I? Oh, I try never to offend someone accidentally, especially when doing it purposefully brings me such joy.
But what will become of me? I have no wife, no position, and no house. I am a man, and therefore destined by God Almighty to run others' lives.
Perhaps you could hire yourself out as a teacher of manners, Sir Geoffrey. There are always those who are willing to pay to make up for social inadequacy. As luck and my father's sword would have it, that position is now available. As for me, my fortune has changed to the point where manners are no longer an important factor.
How so?
And in our world, just keeping up appearances costs a fortune. When money is no longer a problem, neither are appearances. Good day, Sir Geoffrey.